Dietrich one day was like, "Hey, John, you should start a YouTube channel about coffee." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't want to do that." And then, and then I was thinking like, but I would do it if I found somebody that I could share and co-host and really kind of like seek more knowledge and kind of expand, you know, how we approach these topics. And I was like, oh, hey, Marty, you want to chat online every week on Tuesday? And
I'm like,
not get paid for
I'm
it,
afraid
good
of that.
free. Marty, I want to talk about growth strategy.
Oh, how
We
corporate are we?
We got to talk about this. Like this whole, always driving to have more subscribers. Is it really that important? No, but kind of. It gets you a bigger audience.
It's going to help us. It's just a ton of good people. I don't know how to found it.
And more to come too. Like this is a great platform that I hope that it's a great platform for a lot of people that do have products or anything that they're having difficulty connecting to their audience because of no trade shows. There's a lot of booths that you can't have. Well, this is a booth and it's free. It's a free booth right now.
For sure.
I mean, it's free.
It's a free booth.
Yeah, Marty and Dietrich, I've learned so much since September because I've been
so have I.
had my feet to the fire, and I got to figure this stuff out. I got to come up with a question. What is this? Every week to Marty when I'm like, he knows everything. This is going to be too easy. We're going to have to look forward to like what kind of guests are we going to have on the show. We're going to have that coming up too. And what do we want to share with the community? What does the community want us to share with them? So, give us a call. Let us know like what information or topics that, is might be of interest. And I know that the tech word or the technology word might be a little, I don't know.
A lot of people that know me know that I'm a wrench turner. That's what we do, and that would lend kind of supporting what you're saying is that maybe they're thinking this is a technical thing that we're going to only talk about fixing coffee equipment. No, that's not it. It's tech is, I mean, you can get really technical on how you fertilize ground.
Or last week, how you like pour water over a coffee bed. I mean, we talked an hour and a half. It was like longest episode about just how to pour water over a coffee bed. We got to have the next episode would be about espresso and maybe have one of your friends on the show that might know something about espresso.
Yeah,
it's one of my first graphics. You know what that is? What is that?
Which part? I mean, there's
two nuts on top of a boiler.
The two nuts on top of. We've brainstormed a lot of things, and one of the things that we talked about was having someone here in the U.S. that knows coffee, knows what they're doing, is real excited about the cutting edge of whatever's hip going right now, and then while they're on the show, also have someone from another country, basically representing their country on those thoughts and ideas. And so, if you're interested in maybe collaborating a little bit and bouncing ideas and what works for you and see want to listen to what happens overseas.
Didn't we have like an idea of like having a throwdown, but an international throwdown, and kind of having that like maybe someone from Korea would like to join the show, and maybe we can get someone from Missouri to join the show at the same time, and just have like a
I think it'd be great.
Ideas, right?
Yeah,
like going on in the coffee culture in Japan, or I don't know, inside, wherever, like Indonesia, or wherever you just throw something on the globe, and wherever it sticks, we're going to call two people, and hopefully there's someone, hopefully it's not the ocean. But yeah, so subscribe to our channel. That always helps us. That's going to help us grow these ideas in the audience and get more people engaged. Well, hey, so we've got Rachel, Dickinson from La Marzocco.
I'll tell you what,
Rachel, right?
It's going to be a great show. Rachel will bring it.
Caravella Coffee, William Ortiz, January 12th. I kind of called him up. It's like, hey, I want to talk about technology that's used on the field, processing or even during harvest, but simple technologies. He's going to talk about floating cherries, the simple cleanliness of equipment, a little bit of fermentation time, and something like 2 hamper by picker. I don't know what that means. Talking about keeping it clean.
What Maria is, she'll be a great guest. The reason they say it's Ernex Brands because they make a lot of products. They make a lot of things. We'll let Maria
Yeah.
talk about all of that.
Talk about cleaning grinders. I cleaned one the other day, and Dietrich.
I hear you did a video on that.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it, Dietrich? Or you want me to play that?
Yeah. All right. So we're watching the montage right now. I switched over, but
we're talking over this?
Yeah, you can talk over it if you want to.
Okay, so this actually took me more than 5 minutes to do. I wish I was as fast as that. My labor costs would go way down. But I was like listening to classical music. The audio on this is really fun because when I turn on the shop vac, it goes woo. You know, it's like a super cool like rev engine. Doesn't sound like a shop vac. It sounds like a power tool. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just taking off every part that can be removed except for one or two things. And I want to see if you notice like what I don't take off. And I think there's a reason why I didn't. But now that's the motor I took off. You know, I'm taking off the top ring. This top ring, Marty, those bolts were tight. I had a really hard time getting those off. They were kind of caked in there. And those knobs on the front, those were really caked in. This one was a dirty machine. It was, you know, the oil had been rancid and it kind of got just caked in every little nook and cranny.
I'll screen share for you guys so you guys can see it
live
too.
Hey Marty, I got a question for you. The black nut on the back of those pods for the first shot and the second shot on these K30s.
Oh yeah.
Black. How do you get those off the best way? I usually use an adjustable wrench, but look at all that dirt in there. I just vacuum that up. I had a question about that later. So I'm taking that off. I'm just, you know, so I didn't take the back panel off. You know, that one just, you know, I just kind of brush it up with the toothbrush and wipe it down.
Yeah, I don't know that you'd gain anything by taking it off.
No, but that I did. That one was a hard one to get off. That little foot. That was a tough one, so I had to take that all apart and clean that up really nice.
They're on the front that the tamper pushes.
Yeah, and that front plate's always just kind of dirty.
Yeah.
So I just use soap and water. That's it, and some towels and a toothbrush and a little scrub brush, and get it really nice and polished down. And you know, putting it back together. Oh, I take a second here, I think, to talk about. I'm like, now I'm going to
wash them.
That's all right.
With hot soapy water and dry them quickly so nothing rusts or gets off color.
And then I'm going to dry them quickly so the burrs don't rust. Because I've seen that if you don't wipe down those burrs after you clean them, they kind of get spotty quick.
They will get a rust sheen to them.
And then so later on in the day, I got different light. I washed all the pieces. I got a black glove on. I like that. Feel like I'm like, you know, I don't know. It's a black glove.
You're doing a K30 surgery.
Yeah. K30 I'm just like taking this thing like all the way down, all the way back up. I inspect all the pieces, looking at the, because I was watching what Marty's show. Marty, you showed something with the Coffee Technicians Guild. Like, what does refurbishing mean?
Yes.
And you know, I feel like, is this what refurbishing is? And then also,
from what I see, you know, the quick definition of refurbing is that you don't have to change every part, but you have to know the life expectancy left in every part.
Right.
And the only way to do that is basically what you just did.
I mean, I took the pods out and stuff. I mean, the only thing I don't know is like, how good is the board? You know, everything works on it. I know that it's a certain older version, but it is what it is, right? Like,
if a board works, it works, right?
A 2009 version versus the 2015, and you know, versus the 2020. But yeah, everything works on it.
Now you were talking about the pots or the adjustments, the little things, and using an adjustable wrench to get that. That actually a thin wall socket, small socket, works better on that.
I need to find one of those. I need to get one of those. That's just me being lazy. I just need to go to the hardware store and get one. It fits. But yeah, polish all that down. Got those threads really nice and cleaned up. And
that's probably the number one most important thing. Is I like seeing that sheen on those threads. I call it. It has to be hospital bed clean.
Yeah, that was pretty.
If it doesn't look brand spanking new, then that's not clean enough.
and those are brand spanking new burrs, and I cut myself, so they're sharp. And then there's a little flapper in there too that usually looks pretty grossed out. So I got that new silicone flapper.
Well, I noticed you use a little lube on the threads, and my key trick on that is to wipe off as much of it as you possibly can. Any thickness of lubricant is just a magnet for coffee grounds to collect, dirt to collect.
Yeah, I usually just run my finger, with the glove on, like kind of over it, and then just take a paper towel once it's screwed down and like wipe off all that other stuff off the top. And then just make sure it's interesting that like the displays on these, some of them are brighter than others. It's kind of an interesting thing. And so here I already put the motor in, and then I tightened the bottom, and then I calibrated the top. I mean, I don't know why I did that, but I don't know. But that actually took me about 2.5 hours. And now it's playing again. I'm doing another one.
Yeah, we're double shot dirty lie.
Calling it out. 2020, double shot dirty lie.
The double.
So I went to go get a hearing exam this morning, and my right ear is 100% good. My left ear is only 34% okay. And so I told the doctor, I was like, that's I don't hear things, the right way, and there's some nerve stuff going on behind my ear or whatever. And it was kind of a unique thing because he said, like, a lot of people just can't hear, but you can't hear correctly, and you can't hear that well. And I'm like, that's why I'm so creative, because man, people, when they talk and they say things to me, I'm just like, what are you saying? I can't believe what you just said, because what I heard is not what you said, but man, was it funny. So I'm just cracking up all the time, because I live in alternate reality, and it's fun, but I feel bad because I'm just laughing at people, and I'm like, yeah. So this morning it was really fun to verify that it's true.
What about you, Marty? Do you have any
Well, I
first memories for your coffee experience?
in cupping in particular, I had seen cupping from a view and over shoulders. I worked with the roastery here in town, the roastery. Well, their head roaster, Normie, everyone loves Normie, Normie Kilman. He kind of took me under his wing and brought me in. They were trying to palate develop, and they had put Maxwell House and Folgers both on the table, and didn't say anything to anyone. I told Normie that I really liked all these coffees, and the reason I liked them, I said, but those two in particular, they just tasted like what you'd go to the grocery store and get. He just smiled at me. And
I want to talk about Normie a little bit.
Yeah.
When I started at the roastery, that's when I met you too. I got my first photo of you hooking up a mod bar at the roastery, and I had never met anybody like yourself, but also like Normie, like you. I mean, like you just knew everything. I was just like, okay, this guy's I've been in coffee for a while, but I never really looked at it in the same way before, working there at the roastery and with you. But with Normie, like everything pencil and paper, old school, traditional.
Old school. Yeah.
Like we're talking the whole coffee quality program, pencil paper, beautiful stuff, like really intricate. This is the way it should have been done. And he was a wealth of knowledge about oxygen, moisture reading, how, nitrogen flushing bags, like every little spec, every method. And he started in the late 70s, and, had been, I believe that's true. And he'd been working in the business for a very long time, and he took very good detailed notes. And I have a lot of gratitude, because I learned a lot about how to run a QC program, and through him.
When we do coffee tech talk, we have 6:30 is kind of when we meet up in the Zoom call. I get the scenes arranged for everyone in the background of everything through the software.
Are you gonna
OBS.
show that?
I mean, I can show it if you guys want to see it.
Yeah.
I can show it here. Let's
spaghetti that OBS spaghetti that we have on Tuesday nights. I kind of got introduced to OBS. I'm like, well, this is amazing, but it also takes someone who's amazing to make it work. So look at that. My favorite thing that I really thought about was the research that Savory Brands is doing with SCA. It kind of explained how the, just the perception of the bag in which the coffee is in has such a powerful impact on flavor and how you perceive the flavor. Like if you put a red bag in front of you and a green bag in front of you, and then with the exact same coffee, people are going to think, when you drink that coffee, you're going to think that the red bag is better.
The packaging is almost as important as the recipe, because people won't get to the recipe once if they don't buy the packaging, but a lot of fun and exciting things to come, and I think I'm excited for some of the ideas that are in the works for sure. It's going to be me pulling my hair out, but it's worth it.
Yeah, we'll throw some challenges.
It's long, so it's got to get shorter anyway, right?
I really getting international throwdown or coffee cultural exchange on the show. Anybody who's out there that knows someone from other side of the planet that's in a relatively workable time zone, I believe. Like if it's 7 p.m. here and if it's 3 a.m. there, that's kind of rough for us. But I mean, maybe we could work on it. I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, we're planning on having like an episode where we do a podcast, we talk to some baristas, we do some of that stuff, and then we do have a latte art throwdown. Like, so there's definitely a lot of things coming up that we're excited to share with our audience, and we're excited to build our audience as well. The more people that are involved with this, the more people who hang out and watch the live shows. I think the early people who do kind of sit and watch the live shows on a regular basis are going to appreciate kind of like where it started and what building a community does. And I think it's going to be fun. This is once COVID's over, if we can have a live episode where everything is in one room with a guest, I think that would be really hip as well.
Well, not that I think, Marty, you've hinted to that. Like we should do that down in New Orleans
during the SCA.
Yeah, SCA show would be pretty sweet.
Whatever that is, if the stars line up and everything works out, I'd love to do that. Have a spot down there for us to broadcast from, and then do the old timers called it the man on the street, where we go out and we just grab somebody.
What kind of, do you have any topics that you're thinking about wanting to do this year? Anything that we haven't hit on yet, or I don't know?
Well, I know just by virtue of Workbench Coffee Labs doing more and more online classes of it, there's going to be tons of little snippet videos and stuff that are going to be technical, more into the barista, or not the barista, the espresso machine, looking into changing heat elements or diagnosing heat elements, which I had to do today. But I can't help but there's going to be some low-hanging fruit that's going to get us back into doing some of those. I look forward to that because that's my world.
There are so many people in this industry that you and I know, Marty. It's just a matter of aligning the stars. Sure. And last minute, like, hey, are you available in 2 days? Like Marcus, Marcus was so great. He was like, yeah, sure. Yeah,
he really jumped into it.
Gosh.
If you ever have any coffee questions at all, doesn't have to be relevant to the guest, doesn't have to be like, if you're a coffee expert and you can't even find an answer, you can't Google it or anything like that. Or if it's something where you're like, oh, I'm kind of curious about John and Marty or the guest's opinion on it, let us know in the comments. And, definitely let us know in the comments of the episodes as well, if you're watching the playback on it. And John and Marty will pop in and answer questions in the comments for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll answer it. We might not get it right, but we'll give you something. Darcy's Law in action.
It has to do with, things reach a saturation point and they stop pulling things out. It's kind of one of the processes that is used to decaffeinate coffee.
Yeah, and the decaf conversation always comes up, and we really need to nail that down. So that's great.
For sure.
Marty, for the next guest, got to get someone in the decaf world to come on the show. Darcy's Law is an equation that describes the flow of a fluid through a porous medium. And the equation is way over my science abilities. It says that the discharge rate Q is proportional to the gradient hydraulic head and the hydraulic conductivity, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no, the sky's the limit. Like you said,
Yep.
let's get some experts in here that can talk it a lot better than we can.